Hello everyone, welcome back to another exercise tutorial from our Chapter 2 tutorial series for BUS 325 investment course. In this video we're going to be looking at problem number 19, so let's read it together. It says, consider the three stocks in the following table. Price at time t represents price at time t, and QT represents shares outstanding at time t. Stock C splits 2 for 1 in the last period. So you're going to need to notice that this last stock had a stock split in the last period between time 1 and time 2. What's required? A, calculate the rate of return on a price-weighted index. This is really important because remember we discussed three methodologies to calculate the weight of an index or the total value of an index, and here they are specifically asking for us to calculate the rate of return on a price-weighted index of the three stocks for the first period, and then between brackets they specify between time 0 and time 1. Okay, so here what do we need to do? We need to calculate the value of the index at time 0 and the value of the index at time 1, and then calculate the rate of return based on that. Okay, so here part A, let's say value of the index at time, let's start with 0, at time 0, okay, is going to equal the total prices of the three stocks right here. Okay, so $90 plus $50 plus $100, all divided by the number of shares, which is 3. Okay, using a calculator, 90 plus 50 plus 100, that is 240 divided by 3, that will give us 80. Okay, and the value of the index at time 1 is going to equal the total prices of the three stocks divided by 3, so $95 plus 45 plus 110. So we notice that two shares have increased in price from 90 to 95, and stock C from 100 to 110, whereas one stock, which is stock B, have decreased in price, so from 50 per share to $45 per share. Okay, so let's see how that impacts, or how does that affect the total value of the index. Using a calculator, 95 plus 45 plus 110, that's 250 divided by 3, and that will give us 83.33. Okay, now we know the total value of the index at each time, right? We can calculate the rate of return for the index. The rate of return is going to be V1 divided by V0 minus 1. You can either do it this way, or you can do it by the traditional formula, which is V1 minus V0 over V0 multiplied by 100. Okay, it's going to give you similar results. Anyways, time, or the value, total value of the index at time 1, so V1 is, we already calculated to be 83.33, and then the value at time 0 is 80, so we're going to put that in the denominator, minus 1. Okay, using our calculators, 83.33 divided by 80, that's 1.0416 minus 1, that will give us 0.0416. 0.0416. Multiply that by 100 to transform it into a percentage, and that will be 4.16%, rounded. Okay. All right. Now for the second requirement, requirement B, what must happen to the divisor for the price-weighted index in year 2? Remember, the question says that in year 2, one of the stocks had a stock split. And you can easily see which one it is from the table, because as you can see here 100 shares, and then they are still 100 shares. For stock B, 200 shares, 200 shares. Whereas for stock C, it was 200 shares and then it jumped or doubled to 400 shares. Whereas the price was 110 and then it was cut in half to 55. So we can simply or easily notice that this is the stock that had a stock split between time 1 and time 2. Okay? Okay. So what does the question want? It was what must happen to the divisor for the price-weighted index? The divisor for the price-weighted index being here, this specific number. Okay? The base or the denominator or the divisor. It's the same thing. So this number 3 here, because we have 3 shares, because we had a stock split, as we have learned in the lecture, then that number, the value of the index, should not be affected, but this number should be adjusted. Okay? All right. So how do we adjust the number of the divisor? We need to stick to the same value, which is at time 1, it was 83.33, right? This was the total value of the index, or the price-weighted value of the index, okay? But we're going to change these numbers right here to reflect what happened to the price of stock C, okay? So now, let's say, after the stock splits, the price weighted value of the index should remain the same, which is 83.33. However, the divisor must be adjusted. Okay? How are we going to adjust it? We're going to refer back to our formula, okay, which was the total price of each stock in the index. Here we have the updated prices. Let me highlight them for you. 95, 45, and 55. 95 plus 45 plus 55 divided by D, because this is what we want to calculate, should equal 83.33. Okay? Instead of writing 3, I put this as a symbol or as an abbreviation for the new divisor that we want to calculate. Now we need to play around with our formula to find the value of D. Okay? So let's first simplify the numbers. 95 plus 45 plus 55, that would be 195 divided by D should equal 83.33. Okay? Now, we do want to keep D on its own on one side of the equation and the remaining numbers on the other side. Okay, so first we'll multiply both sides by D, and that will give us 195 equals 83.33 multiplied by D. Okay, and then we'll divide both sides by this number, the 83.33. Okay, so it will become 195 divided by 83.33 should equal D. Now, using our calculator, we can easily find this. 195 divided by 83.33. That will give us D equals 2.34. So this is the new divisor, okay, of the index. So instead of 3, it was 3 right here. Now it should be updated or adjusted to 2.34 to show or to use as a new divisor for updating the price weighted value of this particular index. Okay, last part C, says calculate the rate of return of the price weighted index for the second period. So from time equals 1 to time equals 2. Okay, and the thing is, we can run the numbers here and calculate it, but as you can see, nothing have changed really. This particular share, stock A, the price of stock A was 95, and now it's 95. It's the same. And for stock B, it was 45, and then it's remained 45. The only thing that happened is that stock C was 110, and the price then was cut in half to 55, as the number of shares outstanding was doubled at the same time. Okay, so you can mathematically do this by comparing this particular formula, value at time 1, 95 plus 45 plus 110 divided by 3. Okay, that will give you 83.33. And the value at time 2, which is going to be 95 plus 45 plus 55 divided by the new divisor, which is 2.35. And it will give you the same answer, 83, the same value or the same price weighted value of the index as 83.33. Okay, so you have two options. You can just answer this right away and saying something along the lines of the rate of return is 0 because there was no change in the value of the index between time 1 and time 2, or you can do it mathematically. Let's do it mathematically and show you just to make sure that everything is clear. The value of the index, so part C, value of the index at time 1 equals, we have already calculated this before, but let's repeat it, 95 plus 45 plus 110, 95 plus 45 plus 110 divided by 3, which is going to give us 83.33. And the value at time 2 is going to equal same prices, 95 plus 45, except for the last stock C, which its price was cut in half, divided by the new divisor, 2.34, okay, which is this one. Just to confirm, I'll go back to my calculator, 95 plus 45 plus 55 equals 195 divided by 2.34, and it gives me the same exact value, 83.33. Okay, and now to calculate the rate of return, it's going to be, let's write it down first, rate of return on the index equals V2 over V1 minus 1, 83.33 over 83.33 minus 1 equals 0%. Because 83.33 over itself is going to be 1. 1 minus 1 is going to give us 0% rate of return. Okay, so you can do it this way, or as I said, you can just write that the rate of return is 0 because the value of the index has not changed between time 1 and time 2. All right, this is how you solve problem number 19. And any similar problem, just be careful because you might get a similar problem but with a different weighting method for the index. It could be price weighted, it could be value weighted, and so on. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. Until I see you in the next problem tutorial, keep on learning. Take care.